Hello everyone and welcome back once again to the channel. We recently hit our first channel goal of 1000 subscribers, so thanks to all of you guys for your amazing support. I really didn't think we would get to this point so quickly, and yet here we are. This video is actually overdue a bit since we hit 1k subs over a week ago and we are already well on the way to the next milestone. But another semester at uni has started once again, and so I was pretty deprived of time and energy to be making YouTube videos, sadly. But hopefully in the upcoming weeks I'll be back with a regular uploading schedule, starting with today's video. I thought it would be a fun idea to revisit one of my first successful videos on this channel for the 1k celebration, and so today we will be revisiting the infamous Santos Dumont airport in Brazil, on which I made a video in the fly-by-wire A320 over a year ago. A lot has changed since then, so this time around we will be taking the Fenix A320. And I do have some nice scenery for the airport now, so it should be a very fun approach. Once again, thanks to all of the people who have subscribed to the channel so far, and to everyone who simply watched my videos. I really appreciate you guys. Now without further ado, let's jump into the flight deck. So guys, here we are inside the flight deck. We are almost at our top of descent, so I'm going to start the descent in just a minute. Just about 14 nautical miles to run here. And after that we'll descend via the, let's see here, the Asalu 1 Alpha arrival. And what we are going to do is we're going to do the RNAV Whiskey approach for runway 02 right. However, I've just looked at the weather report at our airport, and it seems that the wind highly favors the opposite runway, which is 20 right, I believe. But since the runway 02 right approach is way more interesting, we are going to attempt to do that, and if we don't succeed we can always go around and try again. But I do think we can manage to get the aircraft down regardless of the high tailwind that we have. We have a I believe 70 knot tailwind, give or take, so yeah, that's going to make the approach very interesting, but we'll see how it goes. So let me select our initial altitude, which is going to be 7,000 feet, which is the first real altitude restriction on our arrival. And we can go ahead and push the button to make it go into managed descent. And there it goes. Already going to turn on the fasten seatbelt sign as well. With that said, we can now go to the arrival page here on our handy dandy EFB. We'll select runway 02 right, dry conditions, and we'll refresh the METAR and then apply it as well. Our landing weight should be 57.6, which isn't that heavy for this aircraft, but since the runway rather is really short, I decided to take a bit less cargo and less passengers to make it a more viable approach. But yeah, as you'll probably see, the aircraft is still way too heavy for this approach according to the calculations. Even if we use medium auto brake and max reverse, you see that the estimated distance that we need to land is way above the actual length of the runway. So we might have to use max braking actually during this landing, which is manual in this aircraft. The auto brake doesn't take care of that for you, and even then the runway length is still too short. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. We might end up in the water, but yeah, I'll try my best to keep the aircraft in one piece for this arrival, but yeah, we'll see. Here we are now, currently cruising at 7,000 feet for a little bit until we can continue our descent on the approach. Aircraft is requesting that we go to the local barometric pressure, so we'll do that. I believe it was 1011 for Santos Dumont here. So we'll set our 3 altimeters to that setting, including the standby instrument here, like so. Just gonna double check that we do in fact have the right altimeter setting, which we do. So that's the weather currently at Santos Dumont. 190 degrees at 17 knots for the winds. As I said, a pretty hard tailwind. 31 degrees, so nice and warm, and a QNH of 1011. So pretty standard pressure there. So yeah, we are going to set our next altitude, which will be the initial altitude of our actual approach, which is 2,700 feet. And you can see on the navigation display here, our top of descent is right at the Asalu waypoint. And Helut is our initial approach fix, so yeah. We are going to configure the aircraft quite early during these approaches because I want to be fully focused on the actual landing procedure. Since this is quite a challenging approach, at least if you haven't done it that much. I think if you practice this approach a lot and do it a lot of times, you will be able to master it quite easily. But yeah, the wind conditions at the airport do make it a lot more challenging. That in combination with the short runway, of course, and all of that. There's our next altitude restriction of 6,000 feet. The aircraft will probably continue the descent like so to 2,700 feet now. I do wish I could zoom in on the navigation display more, but 10 nautical miles is the best it can do. So during the final phase of our approach, the whole flight plan will look a little bit small on our display, but yeah, nothing really much I can do about that. Oh, passing pretty low over the mountains here, since we got a radio altimeter call out there. That's always a sign you're pretty close to the ground. And thanks to the pretty nice weather here, we should be able to see maybe the statue of the famous Rio statue here that's on the hill, because we are going to fly right past the hill where that statue is located, so yeah. I don't know if it will actually render in the sim itself, but maybe if we fly close enough we might catch a glimpse of it. I'm not really going to have the time to actually search for it, but maybe it will turn up once I rewatch the footage of our approach. Or maybe it will show up on the replay footage as well, that might happen. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit more on the flight plan here, so that's the best I can do, 10 nautical miles radius. And probably once we reach this waypoint here, I'm going to start configuring the aircraft for the approach. So that includes extending the flaps, extending the gear and all of that, making sure the passengers are all seated. There's the city, and there's a nice stadium over there. I don't know if that's a part of the actual Santos Dumont scenery or maybe the Rio scenery over there. Sorry, that's the more international airport over there. That's a scenery that comes standard with the sim itself. But I don't know if this stadium also comes with that. Or as a matter of fact, I don't know if all of these detailed buildings come with the default scenery. But yeah, there's another stadium over there as well. And there should be the famous Rio statue. Or maybe, oh no, it's actually there. I thought it was there. No, it's actually on the hill right over there. You can actually see it, so it did render actually. That's nice. So the statue is right over there. Don't know if you guys can see it in the video as well. I'm going to have to use some speed brakes here. So the aircraft is wanting to slow down. I'm going to select the first notch of flaps here and also activate approach phase right away. Flaps 2. And we do want to keep our descent going here, so I'll switch over to vertical speed. So we can intercept the approach path here. Continue the descent a little bit lower here, just until we can actually intercept the approach path. And I'm already going to go gear down and flaps 3. Taxi light and runway turn-off lights can go on. Passengers will advise them as well. So there's the approach path. We can engage approach mode, and now we can arm the speed brakes as well. A lot of things happening at the same time at this point. Go round altitude was 5,500 feet. We can set that now that the aircraft is flying the approach. And we'll go with our final notch of flaps as well. Auto brakes medium, that's set. We'll probably have to switch to max braking during the landing itself, but that's fine. And so here you can see the final approach pad here. There's the airport, behind all of those nice buildings. Frame rate is struggling a little bit, but that's fine. That's to be expected at an airport with this amount of buildings and all of that. So once the aircraft has leveled out here, we'll go ahead and switch to manual flight, and that's where the actual interesting part will begin, which is the landing itself. So our speed is quite high at 160 knots here. I very much doubt that we'll be able to make this landing work, but we'll see. So, my aircraft, I'm going to disengage the autopilot and cancel this warning. And it's pretty windy here, as you can see, so making that left turn now. Trying to stay on glide slope here. It's better to be a little bit lower during this approach, I find, because then you will definitely not float too much. Yeah. Quite a challenging approach this is. So there's the rock, or the hill rather, where I originally thought the statue was located, but actually it's behind us. Yeah, we're passing pretty close to all of the terrain here. Going to focus now on the actual approach here. Doing a pretty good job staying on the glide slope here at the moment. Runway is gonna come into view there. 500 feet checked.
100 above.
Getting a little bit too low here.
300. Minimum.
Continue.
Speed, speed, speed. 200.
So far so good. Getting a little bit high here, we don't want that.
100.
Think rate.
40, 20. Retard.
Pretty hard landing there, but that's fine. Oop. Max reverse. And we might just make this actually. That's nice. Going to switch to max braking now. Yeah, we probably would have made it without max braking, but just to be sure there. Yeah, didn't have to go do a go around there, which is nice. We made it on the runway in one piece. Wasn't my best landing there. We probably bounced, I think. I have done much better landings at this airport in my previous flights. Sorry. Can't speak today apparently, but yeah. I probably blame the tailwind for that, because I haven't had that kind of weather at this airport before. But yeah, all things considered, we are down in one piece, so I think you can consider that a pretty decent landing, I would say. Not a good landing, but a decent one. Yeah. Let's taxi to our gate. We'll go to one of the jetways a bit further down the taxiway here. Now that we've vacated runway, you can go ahead and clean up the aircraft a little bit. Resetting all of the flight directors, turning off the landing lights as well as the strobe lights. Taxi light to taxi. Runway turn off lights off, and we can go ahead and open the hatch for the APU. I'm going to leave the engines on actually for this replay, just so we can actually hear the sound as well. So let me stop the recording here. Navigraph, we don't need that anymore, and I'm going to stop my flight on Volanta as well. Let's see what the landing rate was. I'm guessing it wasn't very, yeah, 550 feet was our landing rate. The approach pad did look pretty fine, and we stayed mostly on the glide slope for most of the approach, so pretty decent, I would say. But yeah, let's have a look from the outside view. So let's see here. There's the nice harbor with all the boats. There's the rock and the lifts going up and down. That's very nice. And then the statue is right over there. Probably can see it just about there. So at this point we are turning in on our final turn towards the runway. And there it is right there. Very nice scenic approach this is. Yeah, we kind of overshot the runway, but we were able to correct it quite easily. At this point I also ballooned a little bit and got above the glide slope, which wasn't my intention, so I kind of nose-dived the aircraft here. And then pulled up again, which probably added to the hard landing. Yeah, it's actually... Okay, so we did kind of bounce, or at least our left landing gear lifted from the ground due to the wind. But all things considered, I think at an airport like this it's quite necessary to do rather hard landings. Especially when you have a tailwind like that, according to the windsock. But yeah, I'll take it. It wasn't 1000 feet per minute sink rate or anything like that. Let's take a look at it from this perspective as well. Yeah, our right main gear also lifted from the ground just a little bit, but we managed to keep ourselves relatively on the ground. Yeah, it will do for an airport like this, I think. So guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, don't forget to join our current 1000 subscribers to help get the channel to our next goal of 1500 subs. A lot of nice content is yet to come, with all of the new aircraft coming out in the upcoming months, so you definitely don't want to miss it. For now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy flying and great landings to all of you. Bye.